Hello, my name is Amanda, and welcome to Back to the Heart, a podcast for self discovery, healing, and embracing true freedom. And I invite you to join me as we embark on a transformative journey back to your heart, where we get to choose love over fear. What if the medicine you've been searching for was already within you? In today's episode, I'm joined by Cielo Stein, founder of Cielo Breathwork Studio, to explore how conscious breathing can unlock emotional freedom, deepen self-trust, and transform your life from the inside out. You'll hear the 3 key steps to healing your relationship with your breath, how choosing yourself can heal your relationships, and why breathwork is one of the most powerful tools for nervous system regulation and transformation. Now let's get back to the heart with Cielo Stein. Welcome to today's episode of Back to the Heart. I am reconnecting today with Cielo Stein. We were colleagues in the corporate professional world, and I saw all the beautiful things on LinkedIn that Cielo is doing. She is a breathwork facilitator and owns her own studio in Kentucky, and many more things that she's going to share on the show today. I can't wait to catch up and share all the details of what her journey has looked like, because that's what we're saying. Like my life since we worked together there at IPA, and we were in outside sales, and Cielo came and she worked with me for a couple of days. I was showing her the ropes, giving her the training, and so much has changed in my life. But I think what is so beautiful is there are people that we come in contact with that there's just like a different energy that you feel with those people, of like some sort of connection of, even though we didn't even work together that long, right? And we
Yeah.
were in different places. So we just saw each other the one time, right? But there's just some sort of energy connection there. And then we continued, virtually and on the phone and stuff. But you just connect. And then here we are many years later. I don't know. It feels like a lifetime ago, but then also could have just been yesterday. It's like time is just doesn't exist whenever you get into this healing space. So whenever I saw that you were doing breath work, I was like, oh my God, this is my jam. I talk about breath work on the podcast all the time, because the first time I did breath work was in November of 2023, whenever I went to a healing retreat, Awaken, with Danny Morell, and they had a breathwork session at the end of the day. It was the first time I'd ever tried breathwork, and I was just like, oh my God, like this is just life changing,
When I met you, I was climbing that corporate ladder.
right?
I was doing everything I was told that was going to make me happy. And, I wanted that perfect life. And I had just gotten married. I had the perfect family, the perfect job. I mean, corporate America, doing corporate sales. Life is beautiful. And yet, I hit a point where like I got to a point in my life where everything was just I had everything I was told was gonna make me happy, yet something was missing and I couldn't figure out what that was. And I felt ungrateful and I couldn't figure out what it was. So I started like my own self searching of like what's going on with me. And I started looking for holistic practices. So I started doing like meditation and yoga and trying this thing and trying this out and I try things out. Like that's what I do. I just like I'm like you're gonna okay. I'll try it and see how that goes. And I had a friend that came from Bali and it was my husband's friend. And like you said, like I think like things happen for a reason. He literally is my husband's friend. My husband is German. So he's flying from Germany to visit Luca because He had been to Bali and he had a life-changing breathwork experience in Bali. And he was just like going around and visiting his friends and closing some cycles, and he was on his own healing journey. So when we started talking, he was like, "Have you heard of breathwork?" And I'm like, "I mean, I breathe every day. What do you mean?"
Right.
Yeah, I breathe. Big deal. But the way he described his experience and what he got out of it, I was mind blown. And I was in love with breathwork even before I even had my first session. So I started looking up. I'm like, okay, that sounds wild. That sounds like the exact thing that I need right now in my life. Because I was in that moment where like I was feeling things and I was finding peacefulness, but I couldn't, meditation is one of those things that you're like, you should meditate. And people are, I can't meditate. I can't meditate. Just you do yoga. It takes time, it takes years, it takes patience. And he said, I walked into that room. I had no idea what I was gonna do. And my life changed with that practice of conscious breathing. And I'm like, oh, so you can take somebody who doesn't believe in anything to believing something, that there's more to it, right? And so I became obsessed. I'm like Googling breathwork Louisville, nothing will come up. And it was just like in California, New York, maybe Miami, like maybe here in Atlanta, something. I bought a book for breath, and I started reading that book. And I'm like, this is crazy. You're kidding me with the breath? So I'm obsessed. It took months before I found one. So like I guess on my Google ads, I guess I'm like obsessed with breath work, and something popped on my social media or something. There was this guy called Whitley, and he was doing a tour in the U.S., a breathwork tour, and I'm like, sign me up. And his his campaign, his social media campaign was like people like screaming like, and I
Right.
know that scares people away. To me, that was like, sign me up. I want to do that. And so he was going to be in Nashville. Got him. I was like, he was going to be in Nashville like in a weekday. Got in my car, bought a ticket, drove to Nashville. And I was like, let me see how I feel afterwards. Like, if I can drive back home, I can drive back home. I'll stay in Nashville. Drove to Nashville, had my first breathwork session. And the first thing when I came out of it, the first thing that I thought was, the world needs to know about this. That was the first thing that, like, coming out of my first breathwork journey, I was like, because I was working at that time in pharmaceutical sales. I was working with mental health. I was working with addiction. So I know, so like I'm going around and talking to all these doctors and practitioners about, you know, pharmaceuticals, and I'm not against pharmaceuticals. I'm a true believer in prescription drugs. You do need what you need, but there is an overprescription crisis going on. And you go in because you have anxiety. They give you an anxiety medication that then has a side effect. So now you have high blood pressure. Now you have anxiety and high blood pressure, and then that high blood pressure has another side effect. Now you're depressed. Now you're getting another pill for depression. So now you end up with like America. It's like taking all these pills. We're just like walking zombies, not really not really digging in, like what's going on inside of us. So when I went to my first breathwork session and I came out, I'm like, the world needs to know about this. This is the solution. We are the medicine. We have the answer to every single problem we have within us. And I became obsessed with the practice. And at the beginning, it was just cool, right? I was just like, this is cool. It's just like cool. Like, it is cool. Like, you get the tingling sensations, you feel the vibrations. You start finding out that you're a powerful human being. You're like, oh, get all these things with my breath. But as you continue with the practice, it started peeling off layers of my existence, conditionings. I mean, I found my voice. I found my true self. I found I found that like my emotions they're not working against me, they're messengers. They're telling me something, they're guiding me. And I learned how to work with my emotions and I learned to trust my emotions because I heal my relationship with my breath. And I'm talking a lot.
No, it is so incredibly beautiful. Everything that you're saying, I'm like, I'm over here saying, yes, yes, all of these things. You're explaining it so beautifully.
It's
You are.
the relationship, I feel like the our breath is the most powerful tool we have for self-healing, but we don't trust it. And we're scared of it because it's so powerful. So my approach and on my own journey, what I have found is it's not the practice of transformational breath. It's crazy and you release so much trauma in one session and you feel like you were born again and that was cool. But it's not about that. It's about learning how to trust your breath. So my approach to it is like I like to meet people where they are in their relationship with their breath. Some people trust it a little bit more than others. Some people don't trust it at all, and that's okay. But so my approach is I like to take people on a journey of self-healing of like let's heal their relationship with your breath because the more you trust your breath, the more you trust your intuition, the more you trust yourself, the more you're going to find out who you really are at your core. Not who you were told you needed to be, but who you really are at your what are your core values? What is your that internal compass? I don't live my life by whether it's legal or illegal. Slavery, that was legal at some point. So I'm not gonna say, this is legal and like things are not black or white. That's what I'm saying. Like they're not black or white. And so for me it's like if I follow my internal compass, that's where that's where I go and that's how I lead my life. And and by doing that, you make a lot of people uncomfortable. You just do.
Yeah.
But then we have been taught to be quiet, to be cute, to not take up space, to be in the shadows, to be small. Nobody likes a woman that makes you uncomfortable because she's secure of herself. She knows her worth. She knows that she can take up space. She knows she can shine. People don't like a secure woman. And if you think about like everything, like what are people like? Everything it's telling us like there's something wrong with us. You're too fat. You're too skinny. You need Botox. You need to be blonde. You need to be this. You need to be that.
Yeah. You need to have kids. You need to not have kids. You need to stay at home. You need to go back to work. You need to like all the yeah, there's so many different things. You add in religion and politics into it too, and just generational loops that we get into. And sometimes, even if it's not our belief, we still have this should in our minds that even if we don't believe it ourselves, we don't think that we believe it. It's so ingrained and deep in our ancestral roots to have those feelings. So it's
Yes,
just breaking free from that.
it's breaking free from them. So like a lot of women are finding their voice, are finding their authenticity through this practice. I'm one of them. And at the beginning, like I didn't have a voice. And when I started finding my voice, I started screaming because I never had one. And I made a lot of people uncomfortable and I had to go through that. Now I'm starting to I don't need to scream, but I'm finding my value. I'm finding my worth. I know what I'm worth. I know that I can take up space. You're not going to tell me that I'm loud. I am loud. I am assertive. And when you do that, you give other women permission to do the same.
Yes. And I started this podcast in January, and it's incredible how much like transformation has happened for me in opening my voice and practicing being comfortable being myself and sharing my truths and sharing my story. And how many people like yourself that I see out there who are opening their own business and helping other people help themselves and giving back and sharing your gifts with people, and it's inspiring. I think so many times we had this thing in our head that we were going to make other people feel less than or feel small if we were shiny. But really, now that like I've gone through this healing and I'm still going through this healing, it's a continuous like process, right? Of learning as we go, right? Um, that I see other women like you now and I'm like, hell yes, this is so exciting. And to feel the energy of us having these different modalities and to you to be able to get these connections, like you said, these beautiful synchronicities of you were in this space in your journey of life and you were pushing the pills and you were doing what you were told to do. You were making great money, living all the dream, but in that feeling of something's not right, and universe, God, give me something. And here is this person whose life was completely transformed, and because he spoke up about it, it transformed yours. And then you're like, "Hey, I don't know anything about this, but this sounds amazing." And you sought after it and you found it and you stepped into that space. And then now you're getting to transform other people's lives and inspire others and helping them do it. So it's like, yes, it's that permission slip that we've been so afraid like others are going to feel less than, but fuck, it feels inspiring. So it's like so
Even for me, like
exciting.
recently, like within the last year, even when I started this journey, like my voice would like go down when I would like talk about my house. I used to make myself small because I didn't want to make other people uncomfortable. And now I'm learning to say, no, I'm not going to be quiet and I'm not going to make myself small so you can feel better. How about I can show you how I got here? I can show you and you can do it. And if you want to do it, you can come along. And if you
Let's
don't,
go.
then it's okay.
Yeah.
And everything is when I talk about being making authentic and genuine connections, I feel everything is a frequency, right?
Mhm.
And whatever frequency you want to be on. Like a lot of people, and I'm not saying anything about like grief groups, but like misery calls misery.
Yes.
So when you're grieving something and you don't want to let go, you just want to feel that grief, then you find other people that are grieving. Then you make a group of grieving, and then you get stuck in that grieving cycle, and then everything around you seems to be about grieving,
Mhm.
and you're just grieving and grieving and grieving. Or you can break free from that and say, no, I don't want to be in there. I want to be happy. Everything is a choice. Happiness is a choice. I choose to either be happy or be sad. I started this with my husband, and I love like it's been a journey of self healing for both of us. I'm still married, but I'm not gonna lie, our marriage almost took a hit. Like we almost got divorced, and the weird thing about that was when we met, I told you I was like, I married this guy because I love him. Like my first marriage was because I was pregnant. Wrong, don't wrong reasons. The second guy I married because I was in love. We were in love. And that was the only reason why I was ever going to get married again. And we did. But then I used to tell people, I used to brag that our marriage was perfect. I was like, we never fight. 9 years. We never fight. We have the perfect marriage. Well, I started this journey and then, oh my God, The fight started. We never fought because I had no boundaries. I didn't know how to say no to him. And it wasn't that he didn't love me. It was that I had no boundaries. My self-worth was here, was really low. I was like sale price all the time. You can get me for the lowest price you can get. Well, I started finding my value, my worth. Then I started setting higher and higher boundaries. He didn't like it at first. He got to a point where I was like, that was probably one of my biggest turn points in my life. We have a big house. I love him. And I know he loves me. And one day I said, when I started this journey, he was terrified of what I was doing. And I said, we need to get divorced. I can't do this anymore. If we're going to do this, we're going to do this together. Because if we fail together. You're not going to just watch me from the sidelines and say, oh, you failed. I told you so. But if you make it, oh, we made it. That's not how it's going to work. We do this together. And if we're not going to do this together, but we don't do it at all. And I said, then we need to get divorced. And he was like, well, I'm keeping the house. And I'm like, keep the house. Well, I was like, I don't care. Just, I don't want to be in this. So that was my biggest letting go. And people think that letting go is just like that you let go and you lose whatever it is. When I finally let go of the fear, because I used to be terrified that he was going to love me, that he was going to leave me because I wasn't good enough for him. Because I was so lucky that he was even like that he married me. When I let go of that fear, I started getting back the men that I deserved, the men that supports me, the man that's there for me on my journey, holding the fort while I'm building this empire. But it took me to know my self-worth to get that man. So we have been evolving together. So it's been a journey of like the foundation we had built our relationship on had to be completely destroyed. And now we're on a bigger, stronger foundation where I have a voice. I say no to things and he respects me. And we're building this together. So, but I was ready to really let him go. He wasn't a, I was really like, if we need to get divorced, we need to get divorced.
I think that's so powerful, and I commend you for that, and I can see how, the breath work, really, that's the whole key, right? And getting back to the heart. That's the name of this podcast, is getting back to loving yourself and choosing yourself first. And the self-sacrifice for him is not the way that it's supposed to be. Self-sacrifice for your children isn't the way it's supposed to be. We
He
all
told me,
yeah,
he
we
said,
all have to put ourselves first, and so that's beautiful, and then that allowed him the space
yes.
to rise up to the level and step up to be the man that you needed to have as a partner, and for you guys to learn this together. But that breath work cracked you open your heart to see who was in there, just like you said, to
Yeah,
see
and
who is
that was
worth it.
actually, he asked that question. He said, you have to pick. You have to pick breath work or me. He said that. And I thought, that's when I said, we need to get divorced. I said, I'm not picking breath work and I'm not picking you. I'm choosing me.
Beautiful.
I said, you're not going to make me choose between what I want to do. I'm going to choose me. And if choosing me means you got to go, then you got to go. Because it's not about, because at that point I was like, if we get divorced, and he told me, he's like, that if we get divorced, your business is going to go to shit. And I said, probably. And that's okay. I don't know. I have to trust what the universe wants for me. But I'm not going to stay here out of fear. Or I'm not going to, like he wanted me to like let that go and go back to my corporate job. No, I said, I'm choosing myself. This is what I want to do. And you're either in it with me or not. And when you start choosing yourself, back to the frequency, yes, some people will live your life and that's okay. some people, situation, contracts, clients, the more you start raising your vibration, every time I lose something, and I still do, I'm like, I'm making space for the bigger thing, for what I'm creating. So I'm learning to be grateful for the things that I'm losing right now. I lost a client. That was not my client. When I opened my business, I was doing a lot of like selling myself short, like, like these crazy specials and these crazy. And you know what? Those people started falling off. And thank God, because now I want to attract people, clients that are going to be valuing my worth and my work. So I don't need those people that want like that don't see your value, that want
Well,
everything free.
and this is so life-changing and transformational, and if people don't have a value of their life, what is the value of living stuck and miserable and unhappy and just constantly in this lack victim mode, whenever you have the opportunity to love your life and to be the creator and to just live in your true authentic self. If that is available, do it.
And
Always
gratitude,
choose
right?
that.
So with him, because he's German and he's very like black and white, and we've been now he's more on okay, there's a gray. So we with him we started doing this gratitude exercise. And at first I was like, okay, before we go to bed, you're gonna tell me 5 things you're grateful for every day. And the first day he was like, and I said every day they need to be different. He couldn't find one. Like he was just like crazy. And I said, well, I'm gonna start. Our bills are paid. Well, immediately he went to like, no, there's a credit card that has a balance. And we have now, because we can't pay off the balance, there's $100 that we need to pay in fees. Well, are you? And then I said, well, I'm grateful that now we have a credit card, we have a credit line that we can carry a balance. So, oh my God, all the things that I'm grateful for. You know how many people don't have this?
Mhm.
Oh, yes. I said, we have running water. You woke up this morning, you're healthy. I have fingers,
Yeah.
eyes, I have ears.
I can take a shower every single day. I could take 4 showers today, and they're all gonna be excellent with all of the select choice premium natural products that I have. The water's gonna be the perfect temperature that I want with the nice shower head and a nice fluffy towel, clean towel after I get out. Like, I
So when
mean,
you start
come
little
on.
things,
Yes.
gratitude, misery attracts misery, and gratitude attracts gratitude. Now,
Yes.
like the other day, he's like 5, and he was just like, I can go on and on and on. And I'm like, see, gratitude, like just being grateful. So
Yes.
I started doing these audio, and I have one for gratitude that I have one version in Spanish, and it's on Apple Music and at Spotify. It's a 9-minute audio that you can just put on and reset your nervous system, and it is about gratitude.
Oh, I love it. We'll definitely put the link in the show notes.
Yes, yes. So, but little things like that, like that,
Yeah.
those are my daily practices. Like I just allow myself to like give space to just be grateful for the things that I already have, so I can attract more of the same. And remembering who you are at your essence.
To pull it all together with the exploration of breath work and plant medicine for me too, they can have the same effects in opening up your heart and getting into that feeling of oneness with everything, and to feel that like creator energy, and to be able to somatically even release, especially with the breath work, those traumas and those emotions that have been trapped in our body for so long.
When my friend from Germany talked about his breathwork experience, that was the thing that caught my attention. I'm like, you just described a plant medicine journey, and I was like,
Mhm.
you're freaking kidding me with your breath.
Mhm.
That was the thing because I had experimented with plant medicine and I had this that was the thing that kicked off my whole healing journey, plant
Oh, I
medicine.
love it. I love it. Okay, so let's
And
dig into that.
so I did, and then that like just kick it off, and I'm like, whoa. But then I thought again, I'm working with mental health and addiction. I'm going to this talking to all these doctors and nurses and nurse practitioners about this, and you can't really like there's people that are open to it, and it's illegal in some states, so there's a fine
Mhm.
line. You can't really talk about certain things. And when he said that, I'm like, you're kidding me. With nothing? And I'm like, you didn't take anything? No.
Right.
And I'm like, nothing?
Right.
No. And I'm like, in my mind, it goes, bam, they cannot fucking make breath work illegal. Nobody can ban breath work. And that's what motivated me when I said people need to know about this because I know that plant medicine can heal so many things, but then there's like, of course, the controversy of like, it's illegal,
Yeah.
like opioids are legal, take opioids, but don't smoke weed.
Yeah. Celebrate with your alcohol for every single occasion.
Yes, that's fine, but God
Yeah.
forbids that you smoke
Yeah.
weed and
Yeah.
or do anything
Open your
else.
mind, open your heart a little bit, but
Yeah,
yeah.
no, no, no. That's and I learned about like how they're classified, like Schedule 1, Schedule 2, and I'm like, you're kidding me. When you look at the classification of these drugs, I'm like, marijuana is C1, Schedule 1, the most dangerous. Do not touch it. Classification. You know where opioids are? They're C3, so they're not as bad. Take
That's
it.
so
You have a
ridiculous.
headache? Take an opioid.
Yeah.
Take an oxy.
But a plant that was made by God
No. So like to me, that's where like
that grows everywhere, everywhere, so easily, so readily available, abundant as can be, and mushrooms too. I don't know if there are any like organisms that are more abundant than
opioids will give you a physical dependency. And
Yeah.
like a lot of
It's
people don't understand that once you're addicted to an opioid, it's physical. But that's
yeah.
classified as the least dangerous. And it was legal and it was prescribed like it's nobody's business.
Mhm.
That blows my mind. And that was one of the reasons that I felt like I had to leave my pharmaceutical corporate job because he was silencing me. He was restricting the things that I could say and could not say. And I'm cautious about how I talk about these things, but I do sit in the board of Kentucky Harm Reduction. And I do believe that breath work is a tool for harm reduction.
Yeah.
All of our addictions, we're addicted to food, to TV, to drama, to gossip, to drugs, to alcohol. We all have addictions, but those addictions, they're just numbing an emotion that wants to be felt. And it's an escape.
Yeah.
And the way
Exactly.
breathwork is a tool that helps you get comfortable connecting and feeling your emotions. And once you start feeling them, I don't get drunk anymore. And it's not, I never thought I had a problem with alcohol, but I used to get drunk. I don't want to get drunk anymore. And
Same.
I
Same.
it's weird because it's a social thing for me. So like
Yeah.
it's weird because you're an event, you're like, you have to have alcohol and I'll drink a here and there. But that thing of like, let's do shots and get crazy, I'm like, no thanks.
Good. And I think about like especially in the corporate environment and in sales, it's like who can outdrink the next person whenever you go to any of those conferences, whether it's an internal meeting or it's an external summit or conference, it's who can outdrink the next person beside you. And it's insane that that is common practice. Who's going to sponsor the alcohol of tonight's event?
Yeah.
And it adds to the prescription pills of just numbing people's emotions. What I realize as I've started sharing this and opening my throat chakra is there are other people like you and I that are out there that the more people share, we're realizing that, yeah, I thought life looked great on the outside, but it wasn't on the inside. And I took it into my own hands, my responsibility, and I made a choice to make a change. And everybody has the opportunity to do that. And whenever you start to do that, those things that normally were part of your life of the masking all of a sudden don't feel as good anymore. And maybe it is, somebody just something to celebrate, and that's when we think we need to have champagne or whatever, but really, I mean, it seems so silly. I've found some other like mushroom and like nootropic, like cool adaptogen drinks that I like to drink those and other non-alcoholic cocktails. More places are having it
And
now and
that's
it's
the
fun.
thing to like to be social, to celebrate, because I'm not
Yeah.
trying to like now, like I need to tell everybody about this. Like I just like okay, but I don't do it to get drunk anymore.
Yeah.
It's the same with food. Like you start it's not like the overeating stops. The constant like wanting to be perfect, wanting to look perfect. Like I want to look like I want to get my nails done. I want to go and enjoy that. Like I want to put makeup on. I want to enjoy that. Not
Mhm.
because I have to, but because I want to. I get to
It
do it.
makes me feel good.
It makes me feel good. And
Yeah,
I want to feel good.
I'm eating the food because I love it and it's really delicious and I'm gonna enjoy the beauty of it, the way it looks, the smell of it, the taste of it. And without alcohol even numbing that, it's like even more expansive. And when you start opening your breath and get back to yourself, like I feel like you experience life in a whole new way. That I live my life with intention now. And even if it is that meal, right? It's that meal with intentional gratitude, like you said, of thinking about the shower and just how simple it is. Well, look at this beautiful salad that I'm able to have that all of the different farmers that were part of this and the getting it to where I bought it and all the different things that go into that practice and just living with that kind of intention makes you experience life in a whole new way.
Yeah. And it's beautiful when you learn to find your voice and say the things that everybody's thinking, but they don't dare to say.
Right?
When somebody says it's like, oh my God. And they will look at you like you're the oddball and you're crazy and now nobody's gonna love you, nobody's gonna like you. But once like what I found for me, because when I started speaking up, people were like, you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't do this, you can't do that. And now I'm like, but then I said it and my life didn't go to shit. I'm still rising. And that's when you're giving permission. That's when you're leading by that's when you become a leader. Because then like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, she said that crazy thing that I'm so scared of, and nobody wants to say, but she said it, and now nothing happened to her, and she's doing even better. What? For me, the thing with drugs, I sit on the board for harm reduction because I feel like I never experimented with anything up until I was like my late, I mean, I was like late 20s, like I'm in my 30s, like I'm married. And like we're doing this together, which I love. Like people are like, sometimes they're like, they think like marriage is the end of the journey. No, everything I do with my husband, we've done the craziest things together. My life has gotten more excited. You are like, oh, I live my life. Now I can settle down. No, now we started experimenting together with certain things.
I completely agree with that. And my husband and I, whether it's little things, whether it's us cleaning together or it's us doing yoga together or even going to the grocery store together. And we still have our alone time and it's very precious to both of us. But we do a lot of things together and we go on hikes together and spending time outdoors and connecting and doing different types of healing modalities like that. And especially the plant medicine, like all of these journeys that I've had have been with him as well. And we have been able to experience those things and be able to become more open and honest with each other because we were going through it together. And it really was beautiful because we had our first date in January of 2023 and we got married in May of 2023. It was really fast. But just like how we were saying earlier about the energy of people, it was just so different. And it was around the time that I really started to get back into my own heart and listen to myself and trust my intuition. And it just felt so different. And like you were like, I got married before and I wasn't going to do this again. Girl, I had been married twice before. So he was number 3. And on our second date, I saw myself getting married to him and I was like, "What? Why would I get married again?" I've been married twice already and just got out of a long, serious, tumultuous relationship. So, what and then 4 months later, we're getting married, and when you know, you know, and so that was in May, and then in November, we went to that event with Danny Morell called Awaken, and it was a 3-day event, and at the end of each 3 days, we had a breathwork session. So, we were new into our relationship, and I was still, he picked me up in a shitstorm of emotions, and like you were saying of you not knowing, I was like boundaries overload, but I'd come out of this crash course drug addiction, alcohol addiction space that I was in of just numbing misery loves company situationships of just people geographically around me. And it was time for me to make a shift. And Sebastian came into my life at the perfect time for me to get back to myself and start trusting myself. And then immediately, basically, in our relationship, we started going to these events and started healing together and doing the breath work and doing the plant medicine and cracking us open. And then we were able to see, like, oh my God, we are such mirrors and we have so much to learn and heal
From
from
each
each
other.
other. And that's the biggest thing for people to know and understand is as you're healing, like if you're in a relationship or have somebody around you, or it doesn't even matter if you're in a relationship with them, like a partner, if it's a friend, you're going to start seeing and feeling and experiencing things different.
For me, harm reduction is a very touchy and important subject because, again, I work with the addiction community. And the fact that these plant medicines are illegal, that puts a lot of risk in our community because your drug dealer is not trying to kill you. They're not trying to kill their customer, but they handle other things. And because there's not regulations around them,
Right.
there could be a lot of cross contamination. And that's a very subject that it's dear to me because so back to my story about like me and him experimenting together was like, thank God we were at an age where we could afford it. So we didn't have
Hmm.
to, we were surrounded by friends that like knew what they were kind of like, they knew where to get it from. There was some talking about testing things, being safe. So yeah, but when I started experimenting with, because the reason why I never did anything before was because I was told, like, if you ever smoke weed, you're gonna become addicted and you're gonna live under a bridge and your life is over. Terrified,
Right.
right? So imagine me as first time I experiment with weed, and I'm like, oh, I'm waiting. I'm literally freaking waiting for me to be addicted to it, and my life is over and everything's shed, and he didn't. And I'm like, oh, and my life starts to get better. I'm happier. I feel freer. If we can provide our community with education and guidance, why are you taking this drug? Why is this drug? What, when you take this, these are the things that you might feel. These are the things, and again with breath work, like part of the doing breath work is like you need to tell people what they're about to experiment. You might feel tingling sensations. You might feel like you're floating, and that's okay. Because if that comes out of nowhere, people freak out. So, education is for me like so important because plant medicine is great, but if you do it irresponsibly, and people don't mean to do it irresponsibly, is that it's so taboo. Nobody wants to talk about it. If you think about how you stumble into that, how I stumble into that, It wasn't because somebody was like, let me sit down with you and explain to you this thing. Never mind, I
Yeah.
have a bucket. And like I want to feel something funny. I want to see the colors. Somebody said that. And everybody's giving you, everybody's an expert and everybody's telling you, and it is a lot, there's a lot of misinformation around this topic and subject. And working with harm reduction, I've seen where I know, like, there's a lot of teenagers that take an ecstasy pill for the first time that was laced with fentanyl and they're dead. And they're
Wow.
not addicted to fentanyl. They're not addicted to anything. So to me, it's like, how do we keep our community safe? And it is about education. And again, like, so in harm reduction, like, this is a non-for-profit organization. We provide test kits out in the community. You want to do this? Let's be safe. Like with my daughter, I'm like, if you ever want to experiment with anything, please come to me. And she's experimented with some things, and some things she's like, I don't want to. And but she knows, I'm like, please come to me, because I don't want you to ever be in a situation where you got something from a stranger that, again, people don't mean to kill you, but you can end up dead. And
Yeah.
what do you do when you see somebody overdosing from an opioid, from fentanyl, that they didn't mean to? How do you respond? There's Narcan available. There's all kind of resources. So educating our community, because as we heal, we need to stay safe, because that's one of the things that, like, this propaganda, like, drugs are bad, they're killing you, people are dying from taking drugs. Every time I hear like somebody died from a, I don't know, I heard like a cocaine overdose, and I'm like, how much cocaine did that person do? It's not true. He
Right.
was probably laced with something. Can we tell
Yeah.
people that they didn't die because they took an ecstasy pill? It
Right.
was laced with something. And for me, I would rather my kids to be safe than dead.
I love that people can have the same type of experience free, right? Using your breath. It's
Yes.
there. It's right there. You can take it with you anywhere, and you can do it anywhere with anybody in any space. And that's really what this is about, is having a tool that is already within you. And what I've been doing with my certification, my coaching certification, is around mindset work. And it's about going through this 4-step process, which really helps people unlock some of those trapped stories that people somatically release, can go through during a meditation breathwork session, right? So we go through written stories and we release the trapped breath. And it is incredible to watch the transformation, the nervous system reset, when somebody gets this scary story out, slow down out of the head onto paper, and you add the breath in between each sentence, each part, and it's just so powerful. And it's helped me just in living a better life and becoming more myself, and being able to regulate my own breath better. Because whenever you're in a stressful situation, or a situation that makes you nervous or frustrated, or any kind of situation that's not at your highest energy level, relaxing and keeping your breath
The
regulated,
only thing you can
low and
slow
slow.
down, and a lot of people think that they need to be like going, go, 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 go. You find better results when you're slowed down.
Yes, yes.
Like, I do transformational breathwork every week, and I do meditate every day. And I find the time. And I know a lot of people's like, I don't have time. You don't want to make the time, because I find that every time I can like slow down, I do. And it helps me keep my mind in a healthy space to be able to see, to overcome challenges. And problems are opportunities. And the more you heal, more problems you have, because you have more opportunities to overcome. It's about meeting people where they are, bringing awareness to this powerful tool that it's available. And then once you start finding out that everything you need is inside of you, and it starts with your breath, all the other things that you're looking to escape from, all the other tools, because everything is a tool.
Yeah.
Alcohol is a tool, shopping, everything is a tool to escape. When you start learning that, oh, I can find this here, your life changes.
Yes.
And that's my mission right now, to bring awareness of this practice. I'm working, I found that like working with corporate, it removes a lot of the barriers that people have, like, oh, I can't do this and that. And so I'm starting to do like corporate retreats. And if you start like bringing awareness of these tools to the leaders in corporations, things are going to start shifting downwards. So I do have a studio in here, in Louisville, and to me that's like I have my space and I need my space and I like to have it. And like I have a weekly session that I host for people that, like, if you just want to reset your nervous system, you can come. It's been a journey because there's no breathwork companies and studios, so I did have a blueprint for this. What I have learned, um, it's like, yeah, like you can go like consumer to consumer, but if I, and again, like I have a background in corporate sales. So part of me, like a couple months ago, was like, remember who you are, remember who you are. And I was like, I'm going to remember that I was like a goddess in Egypt or something crazy. What I've been remembering is like, you know how to sell to corporate. And what I have, and they started calling me, which that was kind of like the interesting part. Like corporate accounts started calling me, like, we need to, like, we're hosting strategic planning and we hear like this is great. And I'm like, yeah, let's kick it off with this. So we started, like, I started doing this, and now I'm like, I'm getting like amazing feedback from it. And again, I'm like, oh, if I start working from the top down, it's gonna have a bigger impact. So we're starting to do like corporate retreats and corporate workshops. But another part of that I found was there is a part of healing that nobody talks about. It's the part of having fun. So I have an entertainment side of my business now, and it's the breathwork and wellness, but then, and they're all connected. So we started doing like salsa lessons and networking events and things like that, because we can't forget that having, yeah, you can cry and let it go and the trauma and this, but there's the fun part of it. And part of my
Oh, that's
healing,
awesome.
dancing, moving, having fun
Yes.
intentionally, right? So, like at the studio, we have these salsa classes and kids classes, but it's about helping people. A lot of people will tell you, like, I don't know how to dance. It's not that you don't know how to dance; you're still disconnected with your body.
Mm-hmm.
You can't find the tune. So we help you through the breath connect your breath connects you with your mind, and your mind tells your body how to move. And this is how healing happens. So healing is not, yeah, there's a part of it that's the work and the shadow work, and then the inner child. So
Mm-hmm.
and so we're trying to bring that to corporations. I'm working I just released a single, and I'm so excited. It's just like a nine minute nervous system reset that I talked to you about. And this is about a gratitude, right? But I want this. We're starting to record a whole album, and it's gonna be this one is available on like Apple Music and Spotify and YouTube Music and all the channels. But so can people don't have an excuse. And I want to make, like different ones for like helping you sleep, reminding you like about abundance and prosperity. And so like everything has an intention, and all the music is as produced from scratch, is original, and it has these specific frequencies to help you raise your vibration to whatever vibration you want to take it to. Self-love and confidence, and even like boosting your energy levels and things like that. So I'm working on that right now, and that would be like on a subscription, like really like affordable, so anybody can have access to it. So yeah, so those are kind of like the projects that I'm working with right now. I'm still working with Kentucky Harm Reduction and seeing how we can bring education out to our communities and things like that, and bring breath work as a tool in harm reduction spaces. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
kind of like letting the universe guide this for me. Because to be honest with you, my husband questioned it a lot, like, how are you gonna make money with that studio? And I didn't have an answer at the beginning. Like, like it was not like how you're gonna become. I'm like, you're leaving this great job to do this that's really not making financial sense. And I just didn't know. But I just kept trusting and trusting and trusting. And the more I trust that like the opportunities keep unfolding as I evolve and as I become, I don't know, more proficient in what I do. So yeah, we're doing all kinds of things, but yeah, that's kind of like we're just mingling everything together.
Yeah, I love that so much. I had a guest on a previous episode, Jennifer Blanchard, and she wrote a book called Fuck the How. And it's all about that. Like, you trust in that inspired knowing that and take inspired action on what it is that you feel. You don't have to know how. Like, your energy and your frequency is going to magnetize the opportunities
Yeah,
like that are gonna make the space for you to continue to share your gift. And that's exactly what I've been seeing with me taking this trust in myself and stepping away from my corporate career. I just left corporate. Well, I took a break in 2021 and went back in 2020. Well, 2022 was my break, and I did a couple years, and then I was out. I was like, no, I'm all in on this, because I'm like you. Like, once I've seen the tools that are out there and wanting to share it with others is my goal, and I used a variety of different modalities in my healing. And there's so much out there that people need to know all the different resources and to know that
100.
there is a safe and easy tool out there. I love the breath work, especially for those people who say that I can't meditate. Well, with breath work, for me, it's a way that with the counting gives you something to focus on. So if you get distracted with your just sit still kind of meditation, the actual breath and the counting gives you something to focus on to help you slow down the thoughts that are kind of going everywhere and don't allow you the time to just fully sit in the stillness. So I
I
love
create
that.
a lot of chaos, so it's really hard to like not. Yeah, so like with the music, I have a very unique and like hopefully we can. I'm working on doing some things virtually so you can try my method.
Love
But
it.
it's about like bringing a lot of chaos so you can find stillness in the midst of chaos.
Yes, yes. And I would
We'll
love,
stay connected, and
yeah,
I'm excited to like share because I feel like a lot of the work you do can complement. We can complement each other's work.
definitely. I'm gonna host I've got this cat's been in my lap, so I've got cat hair all over my face now. Um, I'm hosting a workshop on word transformation and helping people rewrite their stories at the end of October, and plan to do something virtually with a variety of different providers, if you want to call it that, but just different people with different specialties. And I'd love to have like a breathwork session as part of that in that
Yeah.
event. It's been a big part of my life, and there's an app. So I don't know if you guys will eventually go to an app or something. It's so cool that you have all these different ideas that you're expanding, that it's not only a breathwork studio, which is amazing to not have anything in that whole area. To have that facility is incredible. So congratulations to you. So if anybody listening anywhere around Louisville are looking for something, definitely check out Cielo's website that we'll put into the show notes and go check it out. Make a road trip there. And then if you have anybody that's in the corporate field that is looking to expand, this is such a beautiful resource, as she mentioned,
If
to
you're
be able
looking
to,
for something different for your
yeah,
corporate strategic meetings, it really resets you and leaves you in a alpha theta waves that are those are the waves that are like where you're
yes,
ready to really like strategize and plan and you remove all the distractions. It's a mental detox. So I have
yeah.
found a lot of great feedback for those strategic meetings and yeah, so anybody looking for something different from their next sales meetings, I'm like, you
Exactly, right? Let's cut back on the cocktail hour and bring in something that is going to actually that's really going to in the core help people
yeah.
to to really to really release and to make them more productive in whatever it is they're doing. And actually, that would be an excellent combination for us to do, because this 4-step story work that I'm doing, is incredible for goal setting. I mean, and manifesting and creating affirmations from using this process as much as it is on the releasing. So it releases and helps with the traumatic stories and the shadow work and all that stuff, but it really helps in amplifying and like just manifest anything. I mean, I've written down things and gone through this process and it works every single time. So that would be something really cool to put in a package together that I could offer to help complement what you're doing with the corporate. Yeah, let's schedule a side conversation to go through some of that stuff and see what you're doing, how you're promoting it, and
Yes,
I can reach out to do that with all the people that I'm connected to because I have so many contacts on LinkedIn. Like, I mean, I've been in the corporate world for 20
same, same,
years, and I'm
same.
like, I have all this experience and know all these people, and it's interesting, of course, this is exactly what we're talking about, people listening, of the connections come to you. You don't have to know how, but everything that you've said today has resonated with me because I've been like, okay, I want to help individuals, right? But they're not necessarily everybody is going to hear and receive this message. Where do I already have an asset? And that is selling into corporate, and I have so many connections.
You can
And
be
how
more
cool
impactful
that,
that way.
yeah, help people to be more productive and to love their work and to love their life and what they're doing and be able to set better boundaries for themselves and make more money if that's what they want. When you start learning your value, you raise your entire frequency, and it just continues to like more and more abundance, more and more abundance.
100%. So yeah, like we totally need to
Yeah.
schedule a one off because
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited because yeah, like we're in the same wavelength. I'm like,
It's so fun.
you can really help more people when you
Yeah.
focus more on corporate.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
they're the leaders, they're gonna once our leaders are in a better headspace and less stress, they can take care of the bottom line in a lot of companies. Like there's some companies that says they're into wellness. There's some companies that are really meant, like they really mean it. And that's the shift that I want to see, like more corporations
mm-hmm.
shifting into like, oh, once my employees are in a good headspace, my business is gonna do better. And
Yeah.
you can only achieve that by 11/11.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, I have to go because I have a meeting
Okay.
at noon.
This is beautiful.
This
Thank
is
you so
great.
much.
I love it. I love it.
Wow, wasn't that incredible? Cielo's story is such a reminder that we are the medicine, and everything we are searching for begins with our breath. Go follow Cielo on Instagram and check out her offerings and music at cielobreathwork.com. And if you are ready to take your next quantum leap in healing your story and manifesting your dream life, book your free 30-minute clarity call with me at the Calendly link in the show notes below. Until next time, take a deep breath, come back to your heart, and remember, the power to heal is already within you.